feel-good factor is very, very evident indeed. Outside the ground and inside the ground as well. Great first day. Game 2 as far as Super League goes. Game 3 all told, of course, with Toronto against Toulouse starting proceedings. Leeds against Castleford to come. And now Wigan against the Warrington Wolves. And a mouth-watering contest this must be, on a fantastic pitch at St James's Park. Surface absolutely immaculate, and Stefan Ratchford ready to get this one underway. And Warrington will go into it in really confident mood. Same side that inflicted, well, it was to be the same side that inflicted heavy punishment on Toronto last week until Mike Cooper's withdrawal. But it's still a pretty settled outfit, which is a massive boost for Steve Price, the Warrington coach.
He's been in outstanding form, Mike Cooper, driving that ball forward. And the hallmark of Steve Price's side is they defend hard, they kick hard, and they chase and really put pressure under their opponents. There's an early kick there from Wigan. I think during the previous 2 games, what we've seen is how important, 1, your kicking game is, and 2, your chases on the back of that.
Move, Willie!
And Tom Lynham gets the first touch of the ball. And Warrington coming from deep, and there's a special reception for former colleague Josh Charnley. His Sitaleki Akwala taking the place of Mike Cooper, who pulled up in training in preparation for this game. Here's 36-year-old Benny Westwood.
Last move, Joel, get square. Go.
Just short of the halfway line. That's the 5th tackle. And Tyrone Roberts hoists the kick. Well taken by Liam Marshall.
I think a lot will rest on the shoulders of Tyrone Roberts. He's partnering Kevin Brown, who's been involved in all of the Magic events that have taken place so far. Kevin Brown very much looks after his side. Tyrone Roberts over on the right for Warrington. I think it's fair to say that we've yet to see the best of Tyrone Roberts, but the open space, this wonderful atmosphere, we might just get the best of him.
Here's John Bateman operating in the centres as Sean Wayne, the Wigan coach, who has a good Magic weekend record, as does his club. Liam Farrell, that's the 5th tackle, back on the halfway line. The ball shipped across field, and Sam Powell, the kick is charged down. And Warrington will get possession inside the Wigan half.
Well, ever since the days of Tony Smith, Warrington have made sure they put pressure on the kicker. Used to charge down so many, they did once or twice that they bounced against them, but that time Westwood was first to it. And then the first attacking situation here as Hill gets some centre field.
Chris Hill, but
lost the ball.
Hill has offloaded that,
Phil. Chris Hill was being pushed back, he offloaded the ball.
Somebody said something, I think.
I have no problem with this decision. Chris Hill, who's normally rock solid in what he delivers for Warrington, he offloads the ball. Luluai picks it up, and the Warrington Wolves, they disagree with it. The players disagree with it. Good work from Luluai.
Yeah, I don't think he saw that Luluai had the ball there. We just seen the knock-on from Warrington.
No, not like that though.
Was it not a knock-on from Thomas Luluai?
That's right. I don't think he's seen he had possession of the ball.
Off the ball, Jack.
Warrington voicing their discontent at that. It's cost them territory, and Tony Clubb will make a few more yards for the Wigan Warriors. About 20 metres out. Great atmosphere, great crowd as Tompkins and now Bateman.
3.
Good defence from Warrington. Bryson Goodwin involved. Solid figure in the centres. Powell across the field. Oh, that's high. Yeah. That is hit really high from Sitaleki Akwala, right in front of the posts.
Well, that's the speed of the smaller man worrying the big fella. He lunges an arm out, catches him above the shoulders, but it was the speed and the angle of the run that really worried the big man. Looks like Wigan going to take the two on offer.
At early points, and Sam Tompkins, I think, will exact punishment for that, although at the moment he's having a chat with Sam Powell, and then Tompkins will line up this penalty just to get the first points on the board.
Goal line, please.
Oh, we know how important 2 points could be. Catch your mind, about 12 months, we're going to have a chance. The last kick of the game that could have actually won them the game. A 24-all draw when these sides met last year. It was arguably the closest and possibly the best match we had in 2017. With the teams on show and the form that these two sides bring here today, there's every chance that this will be the best match of this year.
Sam Tompkins has a 70% goal-kicking success rate this season. That's 43 out of 61 he has kicked for Wigan. That's edged Sean Wayne's side into an early lead. It was a thriller last season, 24-all. That final kick missed. Could be the same again, this one. The Wigan ahead. The penalty costly. Akuala's high shot on Sam Powell. Ratchford making his 28th consecutive appearance. Restarts, and Powell again underneath it. And then Ben Flower takes it into Akuala. Hill there to make the tackle as usual.
They do this really well, Wigan. Getting out of their own half. It's not always one up, it's not always head down. They use a variety of players, but they make good meters. And territorially, they'll get to the kick, and again, put pressure and try to make the job of Charnley, Lynham and Ratchford that bit more difficult.
Here is John Bateman. 4 tackles gone. Outstanding when Wigan won at Leeds a couple of weeks ago. That 9-8 thriller. And Williams. A doubt going into this game because of that wrist injury. Hoists the kick, but Charnley is underneath it. Boos from the Wigan supporters for their former wingman as he catches that ball now in Warrington colours. But he's had a great return to rugby league as Josh Charnley. 12 tries in 8 appearances since coming back into the game. It's good defence from Luluai to harass Jack Hughes. Here's Kevin Brown now. Brown, Ratchford. Goodwin, but Goodwin harried by Bateman. First divots in the pitch there. Harvey Levett. Levett, the star of the show the last time Warrington were on Sky Sports. And then Roberts hoists a high kick. Tompkins underneath it. Now Tom Davis.
There's high quality from both sides in this game. There was some magnificent work from Ryan Atkins early on in the piece for Warrington. And Sam Tompkins, when he collects that ball, he looks to pass it on and speed that game back up. Oliver Gildart, another man who's recently signed a new deal with the Wigan club. Had plenty of interest down under, chose to stay at his hometown club, and the Wigan fans are delighted about that.
Powell onto Bateman. But no room for him. Up to the halfway line they are. Tompkins. Williams. Farrell can't take the pass. Oh, Josh Charnley was looking for that loose ball. He couldn't get it.
The first one was a forward pass from Liam Farrell, wasn't it? You see there the role that Sam Tompkins plays. Few teams use a fullback almost like a scrum half. He is playing fullback, but he'll throw more passes than opposition scrum half standoffs very often. He gets himself actively involved, kicks the ball a lot for Wigan. He really has been, I think, very impressive for them in recent weeks.
Warrington up against a Wigan side that has got a phenomenal magic record. No team has a better magic record than the Warriors. 11 appearances, they've lost only 2 games at the various magic venues. Looking to maintain that consistency here. But up against, as we mentioned, a really form Warrington side, full of confidence. Here's Kevin Brown, Chris Hill, Roberts across the field. Atkins trying to go outside Gildart. Gildart makes the tackle. Atkins gets to his feet, clutching his shoulder. Here is Westwood.
Joel, move! Go!
Clark. Brown, little grubber kick. It's a good kick, and Bateman did well there. The Lees' end would have been impressed by that if he was wearing black and white.
Kevin Brown trying to apply some pressure and then moving the ball really well. Warrington going from left to right, and Bateman back in the centre today has no option other than to kick the ball dead. And the more the ball is in the hands of the 6 and 7 from Warrington at the right end of the field, the better the chance that they've got to get anything out of this game.
Well, Warrington, they've forced more goal line dropouts than any other team in Super League, and they usually score like 1 in 4. This is the first of the match.
Here's Akuala. Magic debut for him. Jack Hughes made 75 appearances in his Wigan days. Ben Westwood now on 396 Super League appearances. Ben Westwood. Kevin Brown for Ratchford. Ratchford shows it to Goodwin, keeps possession. 3 tackles gone, about 6 or 7 metres from that Wigan try line. Brown takes the ball. Akuala, 4 tackles gone. Just to the left of those posts now. Here is Brown. Brown onto Roberts. Roberts, little step from him. Over the top. Bounces for Charnley, but Charnley is quickly closed down by Marshall. Atkins now. And Wigan offside. It'll be a Warrington penalty.
Pressure. Warrington, whilst it wasn't slick at the end to Charnley, had to reach back. Scramble defence from Wigan really being tested in these early opening 10 minutes.
They are under pressure now as Chris Hill takes the first charge towards that cherry and white try line. Clark. Roberts now. Brown giving it again some width. Here's Bryson Goodwin. Goodwin's cut down by John Bateman. Ratchford. It's Kevin Brown now to the middle of the field, and Hill, little offload from him. Westwood able to scoop it up under pressure. Here's Roberts now. Roberts, Atkins looking for the line. He's held up just short. He's still trying to get there. And Wigan in numbers drive him back and put him on his back. Roberts. Clark. Westwood, a little step from him. Manages to get the offload away, but Clark has to retreat and get it, and they've lost territory.
Go better.
Hughes. Floated long pass, finds Kevin Brown. Brown to Bryson Goodwin. Ball back on the inside to Harvey Lebet, who'll get the first try of the game. He is on fire, the Red Hand. First try to the Warrington Wolves.
Well, the movement from Warrington Wolves, moving it from left to right, calculated offloads, and it was a creditable effort from Wigan. The goal line defence was creaking and cracking, but they continued to turn up. Here's Ryan Atkins, thinks he's oh so close. The 4 players in attendance deny the Warrington right centre. Long balls, players running with commitment. I thought Kevin Brown gave that ball a bit too easy to Bryson Goodwin. He found his winger, back inside to Harvey Lebet, and that's a quality try to start the game for the Wolves.
It's a great piece of skill. You should have to do something special to score at this level. It's a magic weekend, and it's a magic try there for Harvey Lebet and the Warrington Wolves. Tom Lynham's delighted, isn't he? He's kept the ball alive, and he's put his side ahead.
6 tries in the last 4 games for Harvey Lebet, making his magic debut. He got that memorable hat-trick at Leeds. He was also on the score sheet against Toronto in the Cup last week. Wigan looking upset with themselves at conceding that try. They took that early lead with that penalty, but Warrington have come back strongly at them, forced that goal line dropout, and have been mounting the pressure, and it told as Lebet managed to force his way over. And now Bryson Goodwin, 21 goals to his name for his new club. That's not going to be one of them. across the face of the posts.
Well, the Wolves know it's very hard to score against Wigan by simply running down the middle of the field. The defence is too strong, there's too many numbers. You need some width, and they're given that here with some excellent passes. Kevin Brown gives the ball early. He says to the centre, listen, what your magic? He gives it to Lynham, and then he's aware that he has to get the ball back in play. Steve Price, I think, will be pleased with the way they've gone for the first 30 minutes. Apart from the penalty they conceded, which gave Wigan that 2 points, they've been pretty good.
So Tompkins resumes, and Warrington really are playing with a lot of confidence at the moment, as you would do when you've won 10 in a row.
Well, this is an outstanding contest. You look at the force and the velocity of the carries from both sides. They're met and matched with some stern defence, and it's the toughest one to call of the whole weekend. This, it could go either way. Both sides, as you say, are in great form, second versus third, and both got the potential to go all the way to Old Trafford and win it.
Warrington having already beaten Wigan this season back in February. 16-10 the scoreline on that day, a very different day. The chill of February. Now we're in the sunshine at St James's Park. Newcastle United's temple of football is rocking to the roar of these rugby league supporters as Brown hoists the kick. Not one of the best, it's a header. Shearer would have been proud of that one. It was George Williams with the header, I think.
Well, in the end, there's a knock-on against Wigan. Is it Luluai? What appeared to be a poor kick has turned out with a great result. Off the shoulder.
I beg his pardon.
But then here, this is the interesting part there with Luluai.
The kick is a messy one, Phil, because of the effort of Willie Isa. He doesn't give any time or space to Kevin Brown. Probably puts it too high with not enough depth. And Warrington look like they'll benefit from that mistake from Wigan, but the efforts and the attention to detail on those small aspects of the game, they'll pay dividends eventually.
Akawala is held. Referee Robert Hicks calls. Here is Chris Hill. Ever present this season, Chris Hill. Such a resilient player. Roberts. Here's Jack Hughes now, but Willie Isa and Tony Clark get a hold of him and stop his progress. Ben Westwood. Westwood short pass for Hill, but Hill's confronted by Ben Flower, and then Tompkins, and well, Tompkins doubled because Joel was in there as well as Sam. Brown, a little step from Kevin Brown, and Brown trying to find a way through, but nothing doing for him there. But Warrington pressing again. They'll kick cross field with Roberts, looking for Charnley. Charnley, the ball's batted up into the air, and the referee's whistle goes. And
he's offside. Yeah, his rule is offside. It was Marshall who tried to catch it, and whoever got it was in front of him.
It's a good contest in the air, isn't it? You'd like to think that Tyrone Roberts has made a mental note of that. They'll revisit that at some point during the next 64 minutes.
So another penalty for the Warrington Wolves, again in deep in Wigan territory, and Westwood 10 metres out plays the ball. Hill charging onto it. Cut down by Sam Tompkins. Darryl Clark calling the shots. Akawala powering his way towards the line, but he is held. Tompkins trying to uproot him. Clark back to Roberts. Here's Brown. Brown short pass for Livette. Powell gets him round the ankles. Brown, not a best pass, and Isa collects it, but it went forward, and that's a let off, and a little punch thrown. And it's Kevin Brown in the thick of it.
Here we go. A mistake was made from Warrington. Kevin Brown pushing and shoving, angry and frustrated with himself more than anything.
John, come that way, please. Benny, let's go that way.
Still carrying it on.
Darryl, that way, please. Wait, I'll tell you in a minute. Let's get everybody away.
Kevin Brown doesn't normally lose his composure like that.
Time off. George, that way, please.
Joel Tompkins reaches round, hits the arm, which is why the ball ends up on the floor. Some pushing, some shoving.
Yeah.
Nothing much going on, really.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those congratulatory pats on the back from the opposition player that sparked it.
You know, people got sent to the sin bin and one got sent off last week at Hull KR when Wigan played in the match, and it was a similar incident.
I didn't agree with it then, and I don't agree with it now.
Whether you agree with it or not, I'm saying that is what happened last week.
Well, you didn't agree with the sin binning or with the reaction?
Yeah, OK.
There's
Kevin Brown reacts, the push to the face, and Joel Tompkins and Sam Tompkins are involved.
Is it a nothing,
Let's speak to Tompkins and to Brown, and it's going to be a penalty against Kevin Brown. Kevin!
Well, it's Kevin Brown who's going to pay the price.
It's nothing really, is it? Just a bit of pushing and shoving. Robert Hicks is dealing with it well.
The call was a forward pass. Kevin reacts to something with Joel Tompkins, but you push him in the face, mate. You can't do that. It's a penalty against you. Joel, come here, please.
Laying down the law, Robert Hicks.
He's goaded
Throw
him.
yourself better,
He's all-manned him.
After you as well. I'll deal with it.
Kevin Brown's been around long enough, hasn't he?
Penalties over
Absolutely, it's not a battle of who's the oldest, it's a battle of who's the smartest. And Kevin Brown has lost his composure. He said something to him. He's frustrated and angry with himself, and he's lost that composure. And you're right, he's old enough and experienced enough to be able to handle some of that jousting, verbal jousting, let's call it.
This is a high prize contest. You look at the position of these two sides in the table, the significance of a Warrington win here.
Well, I think for about 100 years when Warrington have played Wigan, there have been fixtures like this, and certainly for the last 40 that I can remember.
They're going across the field. It's with Oliver Gildart. Highly prized Gildart, his signature on that new contract. Liam Farrell now. And the Wigan supporters trying to lift their sides. Powell, short pass for Willie Isa.
That's a good line from Isa.
Only about 5 metres or so out now, and on the 10-metre line with Williams going across the field, but confronted by a solid Warrington defensive line. Nowhere for him to go, so Flower says, to hell with that, I'm going through it. Never mind round it. And very nearly does. Luluai. Powell, here's Williams. Williams for Tompkins, trying to weave his way through. That's the turnover. It was on the last, and Warrington's defensive work stood firm.
Well, that's the first occasion they've been tested under stress, testing the composure at the other end of the field, and that set of 6 defensively tested the composure. And so far, the Wolves have prevented Wigan getting over it. Have to try a bit harder than that, the Warriors.
Back, Willie! Tony! Go to.
Still to come, another big contest. Grand final repeats, and the last game on this first day of Magic Weekend as the Castleford Tigers take on the Leeds Rhinos on Arena from 7:15 this evening from St James's Park. Warrington in the lead and in possession as Hughes pops the ball out to Roberts. Roberts weaving run from the former Newcastle Knights player who's admitted it took him a bit of time to settle into his new life, into his new role, but seems to be doing just that. Excellent kick from Ratford.
Lovely stuff from Jack Hughes. Takes the ball in contact. He's virtually in the defensive line of Wigan when the pass is made, and he's good enough to wrestle his arm free, get an offload away. Here we see it here. Traditionally that play and that ball will go behind Jack Hughes to a player sweeping round, and the top quality back rowers can catch that ball at the line. And he betters that, he wrestles that ball, gets an offload away, and that disruptive, fractured line gives Warrington a little bit of light, a little bit of an opportunity, and they'll bank that advantage when the ball is kicked out into touch.
Quarter of the game gone, Warrington ahead by 4 points to 2.
Well, that's good defence from the Wolves here now. It's not easy to push either of the Wigan wingers back. He's managed to take some ground off Liam Marshall, Tom Davis. Again, I think that's the focus for Warrington, isn't it? They've got to be better at Wigan than defending. I think they can score points, but can they defend better than Wigan over 80 minutes?
Hold seat to hold.
Well, they haven't done a bad job for the first 21 in fact of this contest. Ryan Sutton is on the field. Another Wigan player who's linked with a move away from the club. The NRL mentioned in some circles. Williams hoists that high kick, and Lynham claims the ball.
Good kick, a good catch and a good tackle from Tom Davies. Showed excellent discipline and timed that tackle, even with the defender in front of him.
Here's Lynham once more.
He's a big man, Tom Lynham. You don't realise until you get at the side of him. 6'2", probably 17.5 stone, solid muscle. He uses all that weight and power to get his side on the front foot.
There's quite a bit of it round the middle, isn't there? I don't mean that.
He's a power base. He has a big thigh and huge quads and glutes.
You've been very diplomatic.
Yes.
The kick downfield, straight into the arms of Tompkins. Tompkins signalling for Davis to go against the grain.
It's very hard to judge what Sam Tompkins does in terms of the workload and the work rate that he's got. When you watch him live, the work that he's doing off the ball, especially when he's organising his defence, as Phil said a moment or two ago, he hides behind the play of the ball, looks to see where the ball is going, and pops up as that extra defender.
Joe Philbin making an impact, well, nearly making an impact, just arrived on the field. Here's John Bateman. Bateman is heading towards the sidelines, but he's not going to give in that easily. Wigan moving into Warrington territory, looking to find some fluency in attack. Isa, Hill had him round the neck. Isa on the last. Little kick dinked up and well claimed by Tom Lynham.
Beautiful leap from the winger. And credit to Willie Isa, involved in a tackle, a few players round his neck, doesn't wait, doesn't implore and look at the referee, just gets on and plays his ball. Great defence from the Warriors.
Well, the last time Warrington had the ball about 2 minutes ago, they struggled to get forward. It was a relatively poor kick they've got out, and Wigan are just tipping the scales here now. This arm wrestle, Wigan have got a better grip over their opponents, and in 3 plays they've probably lost 3 metres.
Well, that's George King and then Joe Philbin, who've just come off the bench, and they couldn't get any traction. Charnley, that's the 5th tackle, and it's going to need a good kick from Brown.
And it's not a good kick, Bill. It's bobbling and bouncing all over the place. It started for me with Willie Isa. The defensive set of 6 from Wigan made a real statement to the Wolves. That's the reason they're on the front foot, as Liam Marshall bobbles and juggles that ball.
And they took that ball, a couple of passes, and they went from one side of the field to the other. Now Gildart brings it back into the middle of the field. Now Wigan, an opportunity for them. Sutton driving it in.
Get square. Let's go. On those calls.
Here's Powell. On to Tompkins. It looked as though it was going to open up there, and Bateman's pass ricochets. Lynham hoping that he was going to be away, but the referee will bring him back for a Wigan head and feed.
It's too easy to say, watch where Sam Tompkins is, because that's ultimately where the ball ends up. But as sure as eggs is eggs, he turns up. It's a quality pass. He draws in the centre, Goodwin. And all there is then in a 2v1 on the winger. Tom Lynham does his double best. Gives a knock-on away, but saves a try for now.
Let's get in. Come on, guys, let's get in.
So it's Wigan's head and feed. And they're in a great position now, just inside that Warrington 20.
There, please. Head, ball.
Luluai. Williams to Farrell. Farrell. Jack Hughes, former colleague, makes the tackle. Tompkins, Williams, and here it's Talima Tautai. Barrel of a player, sub for 100 times last weekend. For his 100th time, Tautai was. His power, little step from him, almost went under the tackle of Chris Hill. Short ball, Sutton, but Sutton is stopped in his tracks. But Warrington right on their try line. Powell shifts it across field for Williams. Williams finds Farrell. Farrell offloads to Williams again. Williams into the middle of the field. Powell, he's just short. The referee, though, is going to go to his video ref.
I have a try.
And he reckons that Sam Powell has got that down.
Well, my first reaction was it was a double movement. Some offloads, and Powell gets down low, he gets down hard, and he was short initially.
Well, it certainly looked like there was a second movement. I mean, you can see the ball's grounded there, or it's on the ground at that point. Does his momentum take him over the line? I think he's lost possession, has he, just at that point? Well, this will need a couple of looks to sort this one out. It certainly ends up at the ground. You can see there. Oh, you can't see there, not on that shot. We saw from the first shot that he's definitely short of the line initially when the ball goes to ground, but his momentum is still moving, and providing he retains possession of that ball when the ball hits the line, the try would be confirmed. Now the decision has gone up as a try, so the video referee James Child has got to be certain that that ball is lost before it gets to the line. Is there enough evidence to overturn this decision? It's been given as a try on field. I don't think there is. I think this try will be confirmed. I think there's insufficient evidence there to prove that he's lost that ball.
Sam Powell looking for his first try of this season. It could be a contentious one.
Well, it's not the first time he's actually taken on the line, is it, in this match? Went hard and earlier in the match. Hard at the line. Decision's on its way.
James Child is the video ref. He's had a good look at this. And Powell has broken his duck. And Robert Hicks's instincts were correct, the referee. Confirmed by the video ref, James Child. And Sam Powell scores under the posts to put Wigan in front. Kick to come.
Well, just like Warrington at the other end of the field, something special is going to have to break this side down. A nice skip to an outline from George Williams, finds his second rower, he picks up the offload and the return offload, and he's looking for somebody to hit a hard, brave line. And Sam Powell, who wears 7 this year, but spent the majority of his career at Wigan at 9, he obliges.
Tompkins obliges with the kick into the Gallagher end of the ground, where there's a lot of Castleford Tigers supporters among the cherry and whites.
No, mate, just keep responding, please.
Their turn to come.
Well, those 6 points are a direct reward for the 2 defensive sets where they choked the Warrington team, trapped them in their own 20-metre zone, and eventually turned that physical dominance into a score.
Firm, mate.
So after that period of Warrington dominance.
And you know, if you catch your mind back a few weeks ago when we went to watch Warrington play at Leeds, again, a similar, they started very strongly in an opening 20-minute period and then fell away for a period. I don't know, they've not been able to get consistent performance over 40 minutes.
Well, you don't win 10 in a row without some sort of consistency, because that's consistent.
And you don't win the game after 25, 26 minutes.
Wigan was a worry, though. They couldn't get forward, could they, Barry?
Wigan have upped the stakes. It's up to Warrington to stay with them, which is what they did against Leeds, and then they bettered that effort. It's a cracking game.
Joe, I can't talk all day. Respond.
Well, Wigan ahead now by 8 points to 4.
3. Move.
Really fast first half hour or so, nearly half an hour. Pace cracking. And here's John Bateman operating in the centres. Bateman. And the referee's going to penalise Bryson Goodwin.
It's a dangerous tackle. It's because he's so physical when he goes into this tackle. There isn't much of him, John Bateman, but the only way that the Warrington players can get him down is when Bryson Goodwin lifts his legs and probably accidentally drives him, attempts to drive him into the ground.
Stay on there.
So a penalty that will cost Warrington some territory, and they'll find themselves once again back inside their own 20, just on the edge of it now, with Bateman taking it forward, then crawling a couple of metres into that 20. Powell back on the inside to Sutton, but Sutton upended. Goodwin again doing the tackling. Good signing he has been. Powell cross the field they go. Tompkins stretches for it, then staggers back in field, and that's a flop.
As he goes to the ground, Sam Tompkins, he looks back to his teammates, and for a second it looks like he's going to offload. Philbin has a brain explosion and jumps and joins in that tackle. 2 penalties now.
This could be costly for the Warrington Wolves. Here's Talima Tautai. Right under those posts now. Tautai will play the ball. Great opportunity for another close-range try. King makes the tackle to deny them on that occasion. So the ball finds Williams, but Williams comes back to exactly the same space. Couldn't stretch out. Philbin just in time. Luluai, they are hammering away. Powell gets the pass away. Play on, says the referee. The ball's gone backwards. Davis, they've lost traction. Warrington managing to keep him at bay. Here is Sutton. Clark makes the tackle, that's the 5th. They're running it. Farrell. Oh, and Tompkins slips, gets over the line. And that wrong-footed the Warrington defenders, and Sam Tompkins gets his 6th of the season. Slithering in the end, over for the try. And Warrington, having dominated, have conceded 2 quick-fire tries, and Sean Wayne, the man who has a fantastic Magic weekend, yet to lose after 6 Magic games in charge, Sean Wayne, and his side have turned this round.
Well, Wigan first, they pummeled the Warrington Wolves with the defence and then peppered them with passes, and they've spread the ball from one side to the other often enough that the Wolves just couldn't get enough bodies in place. Nice short, crisp pass there. It's a brilliant piece of skill from Liam Farrell there. To pass the ball, he has an awareness of about where Sam Tompkins is expected to be. Tompkins has the skill to catch it, although he's temporarily hit to ground. Untackled, no player in contact with him, so he's unable to get up and put it down here for another 4 points. Wigan in control.
You're right, Phil, that's high quality build from Liam Farrell. Catches the ball, rocks back onto his inside foot and floats the ball into the space where the fullback is going to be. That's why he's one of the best second rows in the game, Liam Farrell.
Sam Tompkins, the try scorer, now the goal kicker. He'll be a Catalan Dragons player next season. Quite a coup that for the Catalan club. 1 or 2 of their players here this evening watching this game. Their turn coming tomorrow. And Tompkins from wide outs, but on target. And Wigan, well, they had to weather a bit of a storm, but they've come out the other side.
Well, the cause and effect of that play from Liam Farrell is it leaves nowhere for Tyrone Roberts to go. He sinks in, the defenders outside him, they're worried, they don't know what decision to make, and Sam Tompkins, Liam Farrell and Wigan just edge themselves out in front in this game.
Sam Tompkins' first Magic try since 2013 when he scored against Leeds in Manchester. Here's Talima Tautai now, and certainly some of the swagger seems to have gone out of Warrington. They were so good for the opening quarter, and now it's just gone away from them.
They've got a lot of strength on the bench. Unfortunately for Warrington before the game, Cooper left the starting lineup, so that altered the balance of that bench. But Ben Murdoch-Masilla, big powerful player wearing number 13, when he runs over on that right edge, it takes more than 2 or 3 players to get him down.
But they need the ball.
Well, they do need some possession, don't they? But the other thing they've got to do, when they don't have possession, you don't have to concede 50 metres like they've just let Wigan make so much easier ground. Let's see when Warrington get the ball. They're going to get it from deep here. Tom Lannan picks it up. How do they go about making some movement upfield?
It's Ratchford who returns it. Leeds Rhinos sitting in the stand, taking in this game. Their turn to come. They face the Castleford Tigers. Final game, day 1 of Magic Weekend, 7:15. After this one, and they're watching Wigan leading Warrington.
I know the guys have said it a couple of times, but I can't remember a first day in a Magic Weekend being so well attended And consistently throughout the day, you look out and there's hardly an empty seat in the stadium. Well done to the fans.
Here we are, Tommy Littlewhite. Hold me.
George King plays the ball. Roberts. Brown, and now Bryson Goodwin, and Goodwin is through with ease. Goodwin is just short shot. Almost got there, Bryson Goodwin. Brown, little step from him, still weaving Kevin Brown, and then Powell comes in late.
Exactly.
And Brown reacts again. He's got his dander up today.
Exactly the same situation. It was Philbin for Warrington on that occasion. It was Sam Powell, but what outstanding defence from the Wigan Warriors. The line was broken, enough numbers got back. It looked for all money that Bryson Goodwin was going to score. Warrington with repeat possession will have another crack at the line.
What an escape that was for the Wigan Warriors, but they conceded the penalty. They might concede the try. Here's Ben Murdoch-Masila, takes some stopping. Does the big man? They managed to do that, did the Warriors. Roberts, Philbin, but Philbin stationary really when he took that pass. Talima Tautai with the tackle. Clark slips. Gets the pass away to Ratchford. Ratchford finds Murdoch-Masila. He'll have another go at them. Tries to swat away. Farrell still going. Farrell just doing enough. Little hand left in there. Hughes. Roberts to Harvey Livett. Brown for Goodwin. And once more he is stopped.
Good numbers across from Wigan there.
Goal.
Livett now. Brown, little grubber kick. Ratchford was chasing a Ratchford has got there. He's stuck an arm out. And surely Stefan Ratchford has got the try. He has. Wow, what a poacher's try that was. He had to weave his way through the Wigan defenders to reach that ball. And Stefan Ratchford did just that to get his 5th of this Super League season, making his 28th consecutive appearance.
Well, real patience shown by the Warriors. Bryson Goodwin over on this left side. He thought he was in. Warrington thought he was in. And Kevin Brown, who was penalised after that break, steps up, puts the ball at such an awkward angle. You see all the Wigan players reaching and grasping. And who's the first man to get there? Stefan Ratchford.
Well, if Warrington have to win something this season, he needs to have the same impact that Ben Barber is having for the Saints. Your fullback now is probably the most important position. It's the one where you notice the most, with setting up tries, scoring tries, or stopping them, saving them at the other end. And he's been very impressive in the first half of 2018, Stefan Ratchford.
Well, that's
side back in contest.
That is his 9th magic try, which makes him equal top scorer with Ryan Hall at the Magic weekends. His 5th of this season, and Bryson Goodwin came so close to scoring a try himself to trim that Wigan lead. With half-time approaching, he does just that. And the Warrington fans on their feet and relieved probably, because Wigan had been dominant.
It was a very intelligent kick, isn't it? You want to put the ball into the area where your opponents least expect it, and it was hard from that position to find that space, but he did do. And then his skill to get through and ground the ball left-handed with bodies around him. Really important 6 points.
The subtlety of the skill from Kevin Brown, because he's actually running away from the ball, puts it back against that grain. They need a good set of 6 after points and a good kick and chase off the back of it.
But Wigan, they had 3 defenders there.
They did. There are 36 minutes on the clock, so there'll be an element of fatigue, but I just think the quality of the kick, the lies that he told with his body and his eyes, just fooled all the defenders from Wigan.
Ben Murdoch-Masila then. 14-10 the scoreline, half-time approaching.
And I mentioned the impact that Ben Murdoch-Masila would have. Although he's not breaking the line every time, you need such a presence to get in, to deal with him. 3 or 4 players being pulled out of the defensive line, then the ball goes over to this edge. To players like Harvey Livett, they've got a bit more space to deal with.
made the Super League Dream Team last season, Ben Murdoch-Masila, as a Salford Red Devil. Tompkins claims that ball. Then across the field to Liam Marshall it goes. Here is Murdoch-Masila to assist King with the tackle.
It's really smart what he's doing, Sam Tompkins. He knows he's going to get attention. There are 4 players in front of him, but he knows just outside that 4th player there's a bit of space. So there's a good understanding between Tompkins, Davis and Marshall. They're finding a long pass, although it looks a dangerous pass. It's perfectly safe.
Farrell, that prancing running style that he's got, almost took him through a gap there. And then the kick comes in and Ratchford fields it. Now Lynham spins away from the first challenge. Bateman comes back to bring him down. Here is Josh Charnley. How he would love to get on the score sheet against his former club. Needs a couple of tries, Charnley does, for 200 all told in his rugby league days. And 164 of those came in Wigan colours.
Bill, there is nothing surer than Josh Charnley will score today. Nothing surer.
That was forward from Livette to Goodwin.
Yeah. He takes it to the line. You can see what they're trying to do. The best play probably is to Stefan Ratchford out the back. He thinks the easy option, very often the hardest option, is the easiest option. And Steve Price will know that when he gets his side back into the changing rooms, he'll say, we're doing okay. When Wigan raise that level, raise that intensity, we've got to stick with them, we've got to match them.
Heads in. Heads in, hang on, Sam. Ball now, please.
The players will enjoy the break. It's been a full-on first 40 minutes.
Go.
And here's Romain Navarrete. Wigan with 2 French internationals on the bench for them today in Escaré and Navarrete.
This is a big play here, Bill. A lot of the players lined up. It's a long time before the break. Wigan are desperate for some more points.
Sutton plays the ball. Luluai to Lima Tautai. Ooh, high from Roberts on Williams, but Williams rode the challenge. Here is Tautai again. Flings a long pass to Gildart, and Gildart accelerating but couldn't get the pass to his man.
The referee played the advantage from that high tackle. Tyrone Roberts recognised what was happening, went in, tackled the player round the head, and Robert Hicks let the play unfold. Potentially there was a try-scoring opportunity. Does his level best to make the ball available, Oliver Gildart, but his winger had gone inside.
Back 10 metres,
and with the
please,
clock
Harvey.
Running down,
Back you go, Harvey.
Sam Tompkins will
Tyrone, you as well,
look
mate.
to tag on 2 more points for Wigan.
There's the high tackle on George Williams. He sees it, he recognises it, he moves forward and tries to be assertive, but his technique is a little off.
It's always difficult to make a good tackle when you've got both feet off the floor.
Sean Wayne down on the sideline.
Well worked out, that.
His side have been good in parts in this first half.
Stay on.
And Tompkins with a try to his name, as well as 3 goals, adds another one.
Just kicking it.
And 16-10, the final act of that first 40 minutes. And Wigan, having endured a spell of Warrington ascendancy, have come back to hold the lead, but then Warrington in their turn have come back strongly as well, as you'd expect from 2 form sides in Super League. Second versus third. 24 all it was between these 2 last season at Magic, and this could be as close.
Shoulder into the ribs and then leg drive from that point.
Sorry, it's Tuesday, yes? You know what that means? Ready? It means lights, camera, active! Let's go and see a film with Meerkat Movies. It's one whole year of films with Meerkat Movies. 12 months, 4 seasons, the deal is all year long. We can see spy ones, all the sci-fi ones. Girl meets a guy, oh bromance. Princesses, Spartans, car chasers, Martians. Grizzly horror? What chance? Let's go and see a film with Meerkat Movies. It's 2 for 1 on films with Meerkat Movies. Oh, yeah. It's a musical. I hate musicals. A whole year of 2 for 1 cinema tickets only for customers of Compare the Market. Simples.
Dulux Easy Care with hard-wearing formula. Stays the way you painted it.
I'm Dan, and I'm his data self. He's a physical manifestation of my financial history. He's what companies see when they're deciding whether to offer me credit. And if I need a loan or a credit card, he'll show me what I can get. To us.
To us. Yeah.
He even helped us move into a bigger place.
We needed the space.
Get to know your data self with Experian.
No.
Picture your Easy Care colour before you paint it with the Dulux Visualizer. Download the free app today.
Max! 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 Max, no!
Murders.
Try to find me. And you are dead.
Wait for me! Come on, hurry up! Come on.
Which Pakistan will turn up today, we shall see.
We're late.
What a moment. This summer, see England take on Pakistan, Australia and India live on Sky Sports Cricket. We're all set for the first ball.
What a shot.
Sky Sports Cricket, where stories start.
You've got to grind the team down.
Well, it's half-time in the game between the Wigan Warriors and Warrington Wolves, and the second-placed Warriors have a 6-point lead at half-time. It is only 2 tries apiece, so Sam Tompkins has kicked 2 penalties for the Warriors. Well, we're back at Magic for the 4th time at Newcastle. Sean Wayne has never lost a Magic Weekend game, reinforcing his half-time messages now to his charges, who certainly halfway through that first half ramped up their efforts and were rewarded with back-to-back tries. It's a first ever Magic Weekend for Steve Price, the new coach of the Warrington Wolves. His side currently on the 8-game winning run in Super League. Well, they'll have their work cut out for them to continue that. Very much in this game, of course, but trailing at half-time. First blood went to the Wigan Warriors. Sam Tompkins penalty, Terry O'Connor in an interesting opening half.
I think when we looked at this game, Brian, it was always going to be a different level. Two of the form sides who like to play. A lot of confidence within the group as well. And Harvey Levett, player who I really rate, youngsters come through, and there's always a bit of biff whenever these two teams play. Remember the Locker Cup and Kevin Brown and Sam Tompkins, Joel Tompkins, John Bateman all getting involved.
Sam Powell with a leg lift here. Interesting contribution. But it fired up, Scott. It fired up Wigan.
It certainly did. They gave them confidence to go out there and play. They got some territory, which was absolutely crucial. And then they got the ball through the hands. And you have a look at Sam Powell. He comes here as a fantastic angle. And not only does that, he just fights. He keeps the legs going, just gets the momentum, just to get him over that line. And the guy that's been really good in the second part of the first half was Sam Tompkins. He came in the first receiver time after time. He gets on the outside and he gets the all-important try.
14-4 to Wigan, and this a very great effort by Stephen Ratford got Warrington right back in the game.
Well, Kevin Brown's been involved in everything. That was a clever kick, and then Gildat, when he goes through, he attracts the winger Charlie, thinks that he's got outside support there, but it just goes into touch.
Late Sam Tompkins penalty has made it 16-10. Yeah. Of course, watch yourselves up here, guys. I swallowed a fly before the start of that. I thought I'd have to call him in.
It was a big fly.
The Heimlich maneuver. They're tough flies up here. Guys, what do Warrington Wolves have to do now to get themselves back in this game?
Well, first of all, I think they just need to do what they did in the first 15-20 minutes of that game. They run hard, they got over the gain line, they controlled the pace of the play of the ball, and they had a good kicking game, they had a good kicking strategy. Ironically, there was the little rough and tumble, you know, where Brown got involved, that actually made Wigan say, okay, we're in this game, we need to get into this game. You know, that was all important, but it's very simplify it.
I think that actually changed the game. That little
there was a noticeable lift, wasn't there?
That seemed to like inspire Wigan, and all of a sudden it seemed to just knock Warrington back. I'm not saying that they didn't confront and they didn't meet fire with fire, but it seemed to lift Wigan to a different level, and then all of a sudden they got back in the game, and Kevin Brown's been absolutely impeccable in things that he's done. All the touches that he's had, he's been very
I swallowed a fly. He's got to be in his bonnet. What's wrong with Kevin Brown today?
Oh, somebody pinched 2 sausages off his breakfast plate this morning. I think that's what happened when you have a look at it. But ironically, you know, those two, Sam Tompkins and him had the little altercation. But Sam Tompkins, if you look back at that first half, in the second half of that, he was at the first receiver 2 or 3 times in every set. And then he popped up on the third receiver. He could have gone, showed and gone himself where he had an opportunity. He took that game in the second half by, you know, the throat, and he said, like, I'm in this game, you know, okay, he's leaving at the end of the season, he wants to be integral, and that's why I think they're leading at half-time.
I'll tell you what you will say about the Warrington Wolves. They have this 8-game winning run in Super League, Terry. Some question marks about whether or not they had been tested. I'd say they answered those at Headingley when they beat Leeds. If they come out of this game and get a positive result, the Warrington Wolves, they are absolutely the real deal for 2018.
Well, Brian, they're a tremendous side. You look down the team sheet, and they've got players that can cause problems. Stephen Ratchford, Tyrone Roberts, Kevin Brown, Darryl Clark. If the team go forward, which is difficult against the Wigan side that really are a forceful side and do love playing on this Magic event, but I think this Warrington side, I think you've got to take them seriously this year. I do genuinely think that they are the real deal.
Yeah, they met earlier this year. The Warrington Wolves won 16-10 against Wigan. They trail 16-10 at half-time at the Magic Weekend 2018. We've had quite the first 40 minutes. We've got 40 more on the way. Bill and the boys standing by the other side of this break.
Enhance your moments. San Pellegrino. Tasteful Italian.
Mira's mum and dad got a smart meter, so every year they could save enough energy to keep her favourite song playing on repeat. Every night, all night, until she's 36. Save your energy for sleeping. Get a smart meter.
I'm Dan, and I'm his data self. He's a physical manifestation of my financial history. He's what companies see when they're deciding whether to offer me credit. And if I need a loan or a credit card, he'll show me what I can get. To us.
To us. Yeah.
He even helped us move into a bigger place.
We needed the space.
Get to know your data self with Experian.
No.
something brilliant.
This is going to be some year of golf.
That was an absolute wicked kick back.
Their turn will come. Liam Watts and Brian McDermott, Castleford and Leeds just chatting before the game. But after this one, they will go toe-to-toe. The Castleford Tigers and the Leeds Rhinos follows this Wigan-Warrington game. Arena and main event for that one. And this one evenly balanced. 16-10. The Warriors lead. Sam Tompkins having a big influence on that Wigan first half with a try and 4 goals. It set it up nicely, as we were saying, 24-all at Magic last year when these two sides met. And you get the feeling it's going to go that close again, that nobody's going to run away with it, Barry.
Really, really tight. Every aspect, every facet of the game, it's ebbed and flowed and seesawed in favour of either side. I would imagine Sean Wayne, I'm fascinated to find out what the coaches have said at half-time, but I would imagine that Sean Wayne would be the more disappointed of the two. It looked like, as they hit the 20-minute mark, that Wigan had done enough to break the will of the Warrington Wolves. They had, but it was only for 5 minutes or so, and then Warrington, through that try from Stephen Ratchford and 1 or 2 more pieces of play, edged themselves back into the contest, and Sean Wayne's side have it all to do. Great game.
Sean Wayne moves up into the stand to take his seat. The ground's impressively full. The Leeds and the Castleford Tigers supporters in their places. The ground, as ever, looking absolutely immaculate. St James's Park. Ground staff have been on it at half-time just to tidy things up. And the second half about to get underway through the boot of Sam Tompkins. And St James's Park has put out the welcome mat for Super League, and they do a good job in that respect. As Willie Isa comes hurtling in to make the first tackle of the second half.
Well, that long pass surprised me, but it didn't seem to surprise the Wigan Warriors defensive line. There's that big unit over on the right edge again. Murdoch Masilla, they can't get him down.
Ball went back, says Robert Hicks. Ryan Atkins picks it up.
Release, that's 3.
For Warrington, just inside their own half. 3 tackles gone so far. And they're literally just over the halfway. No, they're not when the ball is played, just inside their own half, in actual fact. Here's Jack Hughes, solid performer. This is Jack Hughes' 67th consecutive appearance. As Roberts hoists a teasing kick. And it's been dropped by Marshall.
Well, he seemed to have mistimed his jump, Liam Marshall. He collects the ball, and he's actually on his way down. As the ball hits him, he loses grasp and control. Small margins this game.
Let's get back, guys, come on.
Concedes possession then in well inside his own 20. And this is a great opportunity for Warrington Wolves then at the start of this second half. Just a couple of minutes coming up on the clock.
You need bite, mate, and you need to bend it. If you bend like that's it. Go look, that's it.
But the referee wanting that scrum to resemble something like a scrum, which eventually it does. Here is Hughes once again.
Move, Ryan! Goal line now, goal line, hold. Go.
Bang in front of those posts now, Warrington. Philbin the dummy runner. Roberts to Atkins. Gildart was waiting for him. Farrell made sure that he couldn't get the ball away.
Go on the calls, Liam.
Clark. Here is Philbin again, big hit on Philbin, Romain Navarrete in there, and then Tautai comes in as well to dump him to the ground.
Goal line, Ryan. Tommy.
Good defence from Wigan so far. Here's Kevin Brown. Brown's pass to Livette, almost through again, Harvey Livette. He's got one try to his name already at St James's Park today. Brown will fancy it himself, but he can't get over. He gets the pass away to Livette, and he can't get it down. Great work by Ryan Sutton.
Well, the defence from Wigan throughout that set of six, whether it were hard contact and control and slamming players to the ground, or just desperately turning up, preventing Warrington, I agree with you, Bill. Neither the players or the referee are certain about this.
Well, he wants to look at a possible knock-on first. I think Kevin Brown loses the ball, but I don't think he touches a Wigan player at that point. He seems to knock the ball back himself. Here comes the ball, comes loose. Does it hit a Wigan player? He knocks it back. Does he just touch Willie Ice's hand just as it comes out of his grasp? That'd be the only thing that would classify as a knock-on, but it looks like he's knocked it back himself. And then he wanted to check to see whether the ball was grounded. You can see a hand on the ball.
Gets trapped on the thigh.
Well, it's held up, isn't it?
It's trapped on his thigh.
The desperation from Wigan, and on that occasion it's Ryan Sutton.
So the no try will be confirmed, and we'll restart the game with the play the ball.
Is it the thigh or is it the knee? There's no try, whether it was the knee or the thigh.
No try on the thigh is what he's ruled.
Anything and everything they can throw in front of the Wolves to prevent them getting the ball down, they're willing to do.
Here's Roberts. The onslaught will continue. Little kick comes in. Atkins chasing, ball's batted dead before Charnley can get to it as well. And Marshall has to concede that goal line dropout.
It's an intelligent kick. Look at Sam Tompkins. We've mentioned a few times his involvement and his goal line defence and positioning on goal line defence is normally impeccable. On that occasion, they couldn't break the Warriors down, Warrington. They just chose to again build that pressure and have another onslaught at the line.
Warrington then dominating since the restart, and Roberts gives it to Philbin and says, go on, have a run. Oh, dear me. And he slips as Navarrete came in with the challenge. It looked worse than it was because he went on his back.
He knew he was running at them, Philbin. He ran at the Frenchman, and as you say, lost his footing. It looked spectacular, and so does that from Murdoch Masilla.
He is such a big guy, such a hard player to stop, Ben Murdoch Masilla. Now here's Jack Hughes, Brown across the field to Goodwin. Goodwin taking on Bateman again. That's been some battle. Sam Powell in there as well. So Lynham on to Brown. Livette. Here is Philbin once more. He's a glutton for punishment.
He runs at Navarrete again. There's a challenge going on there with those two players.
Navarrete is still down. I think he got a knock there, but here comes Livette. He couldn't take the pass.
Relief for the Warriors. Another occasion, they've held the nerve while in defence. Kevin Brown finds the ball out the back to Harvey Livette, who has Bateman and Tom Davis in his eye line. No excuse for that. He's good enough to catch that ball, and it's Wigan's turn to drive the ball away from their own line under stern defence.
Well, breathtaking start to this second half, been really lively. Here's a chance though to catch up with the half-time news from Angela.
Thanks, Bill. Steve Price, the Warrington coach, says it's all in the details in this second half. Small tweaks rather than big changes, but unsurprisingly for Price, it's in the attitude and effort in defence where he wants to see some improvement. Composure's important too. Don't lose focus on the goal, he says. Sean Wayne is happy with the effort so far, especially in how they're ending sets. But he thought the two tries that Warrington scored were a bit soft, so maybe their defence needs to be a bit sharper. They've stuck to what they've practiced in the week, though, he says. Keep it up.
16-10, Sean Wayne's side lead as that kick is claimed by Charnley. And Charnley, has he got the legs to outpace Sam Tompkins? Tompkins trying to cover across, makes the tackle, assisted by Gildart, and Charnley is stopped.
Well, you won't see a better take and return from a winger all weekend. Outstanding from Josh Charnley.
But they're over on the other side of the field now, and Harvey Livett.
Surrender!
I don't think you'll see a better recovery either of defenders to get back. 5 around Charnley, and then all the rest of the team back on side.
Short ball. Here's George King now.
George!
Late call into the side, King, after Mike Cooper was injured in training. Roberts. It balls quickly on from Atkins, but quickly into touch before Charnley could get a hold of it.
And that pass is forced because the Wigan Warriors on their own line, they get up quick, they put pressure. It's Oliver Gildart who's virtually in the defensive line. Watch this take under pressure. He's got 70 metres to go, and one of his best pals in the game is facing him. He manages to bump him off, but the Wigan Warriors in numbers get back.
Let's get bound. Oh, hang on, time off.
That's as good as it gets, that. And Josh Charnley, the only thing he didn't get was the try. But what a return from the winger.
Good work from Gildart, though, to chase him down. It's a player down injured. It's Stefan Ratchford. And
He's injured. Sort him out.
a pause in proceedings while the Warrington full-back.
With that big calf, that, Barry, you're usually good on these.
I never had a calf injury. We found one and I didn't have.
It didn't run that fast.
Snapped my Achilles. It could be his Achilles. It doesn't look like a snapped
don't
Achilles.
say that.
It doesn't. And Stefan Ratchford isn't the type of player. I said that I'd snap my Achilles, not him. He's not the type of player to stay down. The intensity in this game, we've had 46, 40 so far, but it's all been at breakneck pace.
It has been quick, hasn't it? Here's
Quick
Talima.
and powerful as well.
Yeah. Fierce at times. Tautai. Here's Davis. Of Wigan struggling to make forward ground. Here's Marshall.
3, move!
Just on his own 40, that'll do. Josh Charnley. Well, Charnley wants a Wigan winger against the new generation.
Isn't it ironic? That's one of the players that probably meant that when Josh Charnley came back to rugby league, there was no place for him. Wigan tap, and they want to play this game quick.
Hold it, Ben. Go.
They move into Warrington territory. Is that for the first time in this second half? Could well be.
Yeah.
Here.
2, move, Joe!
Well, here they are now. At 25 metres out as Farrell plays the ball. Williams. Here's Navarrete.
3, move, down, Jack!
Back in the side after missing the narrow Challenge Cup win against Hull Kingston Rovers. Williams, little foot on the accelerator there, but Roberts makes the tackle on Farrell. Tompkins into the middle of the field now, but the pass is a stray one, goes back, and Willie Isa has to regroup. Here is Bateman now. Bateman skirting the Warrington defenders. And Wigan going sideways at the moment. Good defence this from Warrington. Brown makes the tackle. It's on the last, and Tompkins was a little grubber kick in, and Charnley will retrieve it. Looked up hoping to find some open space, but Farrell made sure that that wasn't going to happen.
Showed his quality again then, Sam Tompkins. It was actually George Williams who ended up playing the ball on the last tackle. He took the ball off Sam Powell and was able to put in a delicate kick, and it's Warrington's turn.
It's Warrington's turn to try and make some ground, which they've not been that successful, have they? Wigan's defence is brutal in comparison. They're still only a 6-point lead. Both teams have scored 2 tries each. I'd say there isn't much between them, but physically, the test is, can they match the Wigan side here now? Jack Hughes comes across, there's an overlap, can he find anybody?
That looked forward, it was Hughes trying to pop that ball over the top to Atkins.
And that's always the danger when you start running towards the sidelines, running across the field rather than down the field. There's a chance that that will happen.
The players taking every opportunity to have a breather. Such has been the pace of this game, and it's a quick pitch, isn't it? It's a lovely, fast surface. Hardly a blemish on it. A great atmosphere, which probably gets guys wound up as well. So everything seems to be happening a lot quicker.
You're absolutely right, and it gives you the perception that there is much more space, because this stadium and the stands go up. It seems to go up into infinity over on our left, over on that side. But for Warrington and Wigan, there is a real arm wrestle, and I'm with you, Phil. I think that Warrington have had periods of play where they've been in front, but they haven't managed to convert those into points.
Wigan made a change here now. They've got Morgan Escaray on.
Escaray will be looking for some scraps to feed on. Murdoch Masilla's tackle on George Williams stops that moment of attack. Here is Morgan Escaray, but the ball goes to Bateman, and Bateman weaves his way through and under the posts. John Bateman, the man for all seasons for the Wigan Warriors, second row or centre, he will give his all. And he's come up with a try, the first of the second half, under the posts. His third of the season, and the force is with Wigan.
Well, in the game before this, we saw the most difficult player in Super League to try and stop, Mark Percival for St Helens. John Bateman isn't far behind him. They've created their own problem by throwing a forward pass, and inviting Wigan to start a set of possession near to your own try line is danger. Look, he turns back inside, breaks through the first tackle, and then has the evasion then to round the fullback, put the ball under the post. They'll extend the lead here now to 12 points, all because of the brilliance of Bateman. But again, I think a reflection of the brutal defence. They've ground down their opponents here, survived on their own line, held the people out, held them up, held the ball from being grounded, and after 11 minutes they've scored again.
Real wholehearted player, 24-year-old John Bateman is. Wherever Sean Wayne asks him to operate, the stony-faced Wigan coach doesn't look that impressed yet.
Not until the whistle goes, and even then sometimes he's still unhappy, but we'll see.
Well, Tompkins has thumped that into the upper tiers of the stand at the Leeds end of the ground.
Well, that's the difference between the two sides. You can see that John Bateman, he runs hard. There is some deception in that play. The ball carrier has a player at the side of him, and while all the focus and attention of the defenders is on that player, it was John Bateman who cuts back. There's an overchase, an underchase, space, but ultimately it's about taking the chances when they crop up.
Wigan ahead by 22 points to 10. With that try from Bateman, the first of this second half. And Warrington need to wrest the authority of this game off their opponents, but at the moment it's with Marshall, and Marshall is trying to outflank Charnley. Charnley is coming back at him. Marshall has sold him the dummy. Charnley makes the tackle. Williams gets the try, and what a try it is! What a try it is from the Wigan Warriors. And Liam Marshall took on the former Wigan star Josh Charnley. He didn't have the legs to beat him, but Williams was in support. And Wigan get back-to-back tries and get a grip on his game, on this game.
Oh, wow. Wigan with ruthless, lethal finishing ability. There's a little bit of cheekiness in this. It's an offload, Scruffy gets kicked by George Williams. But watch what Liam Marshall is thinking when he gets that ball. He has the ball in his right hand, he's thinking about the pass back inside. And he knows that the player that's chasing him once donned the cherry and white of Wigan, and he thinks, I'm having you, I'm going to take you on the outside. And at the split second where it looks like he's going to get tackled and the play stops, he finds a support runner in George Williams.
Well, Alan Shearer would be impressed with the finishing ability that the Wigan Warriors have had. The chances to convert them into the tries, that's a brilliant try, and I think it broke the hearts and minds of the Warrington players. I saw Ben Murdoch Masilla limping back, the heads dropped. Now, this game, there's still a long time left for them to score. They could score, but What sort of spirit have they got in them here now to concede back-to-back tries? May have just broken the spirit.
Yeah, thoughtful faces there in the Warrington camp as they watch Sam Tompkins line up another conversion. Wow, what a breakout that was, and how ironic that it was Marshall taking on Charnley, and while he didn't get the edge on him, he did enough damage to set up George William, who's now scored tries in 3 of Wigan's 4 visits to this ground, as Tompkins from wide out is off target. But Wigan ahead by 26 points to 10 now.
Well, there's quality wing play. Watch what Liam Marshall does when he gets this ball. He has to time this exactly right. Now, he doesn't do much wrong, Josh Charnley. He stays tall, waits until the right split fraction of a second to make that tackle, but it just bought enough time for the support of George Williams to collect that pass.
I think that's one of the joys of this game, isn't it? Seeing a Wigan wingers going toe-to-toe like that. And there's a little step from Williams as well to try and to put Charnley off.
What move, Chris? Back in.
There's fractions of a second and you can get it so right and so wrong. And Liam Marshall, who's only a young man himself, showed every ounce of maturity he's picked up over the last couple of years while he's been learning his trade. He's not quite a master yet, but he's getting there.
And Warrington, who looked as though they were on course to get a grip on this game in that spell in the first half.
Mildy's just got to take some big deep breaths, and behind the back of the sticks it's about keeping your nerve, make sure there's no panic. There might be some talk about completing the next set, getting to a kick.
If you go back and watch this game, at about 26 minutes in the match, Warrington had 2 sets where they couldn't make any ground. Wigan just turned up the heat in the defence, and from that point on, physically, it's been a mismatch, really. Wigan have just dominated them.
Warrington haven't lost a game since March the 9th, when they were beaten by St Helens.
Release now! Goal 3, no markers.
On a great run of form that's taken up to 3rd in the table, and on a great run at the moment.
Well, Deck Patton's come on there and made a difference.
Patton almost, well, he did break the line, but he couldn't find any support, but it's put Warrington on the front foot. Brown another kick, Ragsford another chase, they'll get the ball back.
Well, that's a good response from Warrington. The initial break from the number 9, or the replacement 9, Declan Patton. Kick, chase.
And Bateman again to the rescue.
Just look at Deck Patton. He has a runner outside in Kevin Brown. And some of those big players, Ratchford, Brown, Roberts. And if it's Deck Patton who takes over at 9, they need to apply themselves in this game and impose their will on their opponents. 16 points is not insurmountable in the modern game. What have we got there? 23 and a bit minutes left. But it's whether they've got that self-belief. It's whether they can see themselves getting back into this game.
Whether they get the ball back the time Sam Tompkins is taking. Eventually, he launches a fine goal line dropout, and Ratchford has to backtrack to claim that inside his own 40. And the Wigan line is up almost to the halfway line. Here's Ben Westwood.
I have to say that Sam Tompkins has turned the clock back. He's as good a player as he was 5 or 6 years ago when he was ripping it up. There's an offload.
And they keep the ball alive. Now as Jack Hughes goes cantering towards the Wigan line, gets it to Goodwin. Estere and Davis managing to stop him. But Warrington trying to find a way back into this game. Roberts steps out of trouble, finds Ratchford. Ratchford onto Atkins. Atkins back in field to Charnley. Charnley. Wigan almost determined not to allow him to get on the score sheet. There's another moment of spite in this game. Charnley upended. Marshall not showing his
no respect, has
any
he?
respect.
There's no respect, Liam Marshall. While he's trying to make that tackle, he ends up tipping Josh Charnley onto his head.
Hey, this might be what Warrington need. They need something different, something, a spark, don't they, to get them fired up here. It's got them angry anyway, visibly angry.
Well, Tompkins and Ben Murdoch-Masila still chuntering at each other.
Take him away.
I know we were fancying that exchange. And he's not wearing cherry and white.
Big Ben.
There you go.
Well, it's a penalty, and that's all it is. And
you can see how those things happen.
Yeah. I don't think it's a sin bin because he actually lands on his arm. He doesn't get actually put into that dangerous position, but he had the potential to do that.
Okay.
You can see how there's confusion. He doesn't know that the tackle has been made or affected or called. Gets it all wrong, young Liam Marshall. And you're right, it might just fire up and spark up the Warrington Wolves.
Okay. I've got this. Okay.
Robert Hicks, who's had a steady game in this one.
Yeah, he needs to compose himself. He got a bit excited in the melee there.
Today. Every time we have an eruption, I think you're inflaming as well. It might not what you want to do, but that's what's happening. So please make sure you control yourself and tell your players I don't want any more of this running in. If anybody runs in again, you'll take me to some other level I don't
somebody
have to
is
go
going to end up in the sin bin. Is the message from Robert Hicks if there's another flare-up. And with still a quarter of the game to go, there's every possibility there will be.
Yeah, and he's dealing with it in the right way, in a cool, calm manner. Gets Big Ben in. Says, cool your heels.
Incident's not concerning himself. He's done it again. Like I've just said to Sam, I don't want players running in. You guys
will be
control
told to
yourself
pass the
or I will
message
deal
on to
with
his
it.
player.
Okay, generally, Chris,
team.
it's every time we have an incident, the penalty's yours. I don't want players running in.
Warrington will get the penalty anyway for that tackle.
Well, the other Warrington players need to be thinking how they can get the try.
I've now dealt with it.
They're going to need 3 of them, aren't they? They've had lots of time there. They've got Chris Hill back on the field. I always feel that they look stronger for me anyway when he's out there. We've got 6 plays, 6 yards from the line.
Goal line, George. Goal line, George.
Yeah, Wigan on their own try line then. And Warrington poised for another crack at the cherry and white defensive line. Westwood, Ben Flower among that group to get a hold of him. Sutton in there as well. Roberts picks that ball up off his toes. Gildart does well to get a hold of him. Roberts has lost the ball and it's stolen, says the referee.
Oliver Gildart and the Wigan Warriors still under pressure.
And Westwood will try and ratchet it up now as he offloads Atkins. Gildart makes the tackle.
That had to go to Murdoch-Masila. He clamps hold of the ball, Atkins.
Patton, it does go to Murdoch-Masila and he can't take it. And Wigan will counter now. Farrell.
Well, in a way, that play is why they spent money to buy Ben Murdoch-Masila, to crash over and score when they needed a try to get them back into a contest. They failed on it here. And
here goes Escaray, almost through. And Livette gets a hold of him. Now then, Willie Isa. So Wigan withstand that pressure. But Warrington aided them in that respect. Joel Tompkins. Tompkins tackled 30 metres out in Warrington territory. Here is Sutton now, and Sutton brought down by Livette. Try scorer in the first half for the Warrington Wolves. Here is Williams. Williams trying to wrong foot Chris Hill, but Hill having none of it. Gets a hold of him, but they're 10 metres out from the Wigan try line now. From the Warrington try line are Wigan as they move the ball to Escaray. Escaray stabs the kick in, and it's pounced on by Kevin Brown, and Brown doing well there.
My word, he did well, because that was back to 6 tackles. If Kevin Brown doesn't pick up that ball as he goes on a run.
Lynham has broken the line, and Tompkins comes back to make the tackle.
That's an outstanding run, and the other winger, he's going to return fire as well.
Charnley, but Charnley is stopped. Tompkins again making the tackle. That looked like a knock-on, almost a knock-on from Charnley, just managed to stop himself. Brown weaving, but weaves the wrong way, straight into the clutches of Ben Flower. Not a wise move. There's Deck Patton, another ball player on the field for Warrington. Here's Murdoch-Masila, who despite his size, his frame, is a very skillful player. No chance for him to show it there. Now Roberts on for Brown. They go to that left-hand side. They've got the numbers. Goodwin gets the pass away, but the ball ricochets back into Wigan hands, and Isa picks it up.
You're right, Bill. They had the numbers. They looked like they'd manipulated and created that space.
Was that the wrong option from Goodwin?
Well, I don't know whether Stefan Ratchford's pass was a little bit too early.
Does he bang his head on the floor here? That's his problem, isn't it? As he hits behind, is there like a whiplash action there?
Yeah.
Yes.
His only thought when he goes into contact is, I've got to recycle the ball effectively. I've got to place it into a position where one of my teammates can get hold of it. And in that action, all his self-preservation has gone. He's left him and really bangs his head on the floor. But we've been saying it all afternoon, all evening, should I say. Wigan have a ruthless ability to go over the other end of the field and convert, after absorbing pressure, convert it into points. And Sean Wayne's side, they've been exceptional at it. And Steve Price's side are still on that journey, still trying to work out how the best way to play that game is. Ben Murdoch-Masila, the devastating runner that he is, if you give him the ball early, he'll smash a hole in a defensive line. Take it to the line, and he's not as effective.
Would it be fair to say, Barry, that Warrington don't have a threat, that either halfback has a running game? I know Kevin Brown and Tyrone Roberts can run at defenders, but they don't do it very often. They're not probably as quick as other teams. A lot of sides have one of the two, scrum half or stand off, who will run, won't they?
You're right.
And Albert Kelly is an example I'm using there. He likes to run. Neither Brown nor Roberts have often, in this season I've seen so far, really taken on the opposition defence.
I agree.
Great at passing, wonderful kickers, but maybe that's an element that they've struggled with.
You know who can take the ball to the line? Deck Patton.
Well, he's on the field, isn't he? Maybe given a chance.
Well, Bryson Goodwin is off the field for a concussion assessment, presumably after that whiplash. Sitaleki Akuola has come on. Presumably Jack Hughes will move into the centres. There is Akuola, who made his Super League debut against the Wigan Warriors in the game that Warrington won 16-10 earlier in the season, the Tongan. Well, 26-10 it is in Wigan's favour on this occasion. Wigan, the side in second place in the table, 2 points behind St Helens, who've already won their Magic Weekend game, beating the Widnes Vikings. And Warrington third in the table, and on this great winning run, 10 in all competitions, looking for a club record 11th in the summer era, but it's a distant prospect at the moment as Tompkins thumps that ball downfield, and it's Lynham.
What's the way to the kick like? It's perfect.
Look at the chase as well, and Lynham just manages to get out of trouble.
Just gets out of trouble. There's nobody there.
Oh dear, and has he got a knock there? He's landed on something.
I don't know whether he knows exactly what he's doing. There's nobody at the back of the play the ball there. It's on Lynham. As you see, he's lined up again.
That's the difference, look. Wigan have trapped them in there. Now he's at 4 players gone. Great offload by Chris Hill just to get them out of trouble.
Well, that might open things up, and it's Ben Murdoch-Masila who has got some support from Kevin Brown. But Brown didn't have the pace, and Tompkins had the nerve. Murdoch-Masila, though, the ball on for Atkins. If Wigan escape this, it's going to be some defensive effort. Roberts, the pass is into touch, and Wigan are off the hook.
Well, Ben Murdoch-Masila hits that ball at 1,000 miles an hour. As I said, early ball, it's Roberts who finds him. It's the loose offload at the end of that passage of play. Yeah, there you go, it's a drop-off play, early ball, and the only player slower on this pitch than Ben Murdoch-Masila is in support, and Ben Murdoch-Masila finds Kevin Brown, and unfortunately the old legs can't take him anywhere. And another chance, although not a try-scoring chance, another chance has gone begging. He's a smart player, an intelligent player, and when he has the ball in his hands can trouble defenders, but support play, if it had been any other player, any other of those back division players, Warrington could have been in with a chance of scoring a try.
They could, but when you review that again, Wigan's effort, when they've had the line broken, they make maximum effort still, and it's a competition for everybody to get back as fast as they can. The ball says, the referee said the ball's come out of the scrum, okay. You can hear the referee shouting hold, isn't it? You can only... It's quite unclear actually. At what point you can set off from there? They say when it's cleared the ruck, but
yeah, well, they usually use when the foot's touched the ball.
But the foot doesn't touch the ball, does it? So it would make life easier if we applied that rule, which is in the rule book.
That's some let off, isn't it, really, for Wigan? They escape that break, then they get the penalty. Now they're on the halfway line, and they're into Warrington territory when Warrington could have been looking at closing this Wigan lead, and they are running out of time now. 26-10, could be heading for their first defeat since early March. Warrington Wolves. Here is Joel Tompkins now.
Move, Chris, back. Hold it, Sita went for that.
And Wigan.
Hold.
Ruthless when they've had their chances. Escaré. Here's Williams. Williams finds Farrell, and Murdoch Masilla grabs him by the ankles to make the tackle. Little show and go from Tompkins, trying to weave his way to the line. I tell you what, he looks like bowing out of Wigan with an impressive season.
It looks like it's inspired him. He knows what's happening now. He knows what his future is going to be. There's a drop goal.
Escaré has missed.
Well, there's a left foot flapper from the Frenchman. A little bit off target. Going back to Sam Tompkins, he looks inspired. He looks like he wants to lead the club. Anybody that knows rugby league knows exactly what Wigan Warriors mean to him. He's took up the challenge to go to the Catalan Dragons, and it looks on this evidence that they've got a fabulous player joining them next year.
Well, they'll be hoping that today is like what the magic was the Catalan Dragons last year for the Saints. The start of the revival. They've made a big name signing last year, Centel and Sampan Barber, and they had a win here, and really they've started to improve and develop over the last 12 months. Catalan will be hoping that the signing of Sam Tompkins has a similar effect for their club.
Meanwhile, Warrington in possession, on the attack. 3 tackles gone this set of 6 as Atkins goes on a run.
They've dealt with him well. There's 3 defenders on him there. He can't offload the ball. He's not making many more metres.
Patton, Roberts, long pass from Roberts finds Kevin Brown. Hughes, the pass, it's stray, and Bateman snaps it up.
And again, it's the effort of the Warriors players to dive down on that ball and snuff out the threat. There's enough Primrose and blue jerseys around that ball to make it a contest, but no, John Bateman and Wigan Warriors first to it.
Well, John Bateman intervening again there. He's scored a try. He's made some really crucial tackles and crucial interventions like that one. I wonder if he's a man of the match nominee. Michael Carter, the Wakefield chairman, owner, is making the man of the match decision on this occasion. I wonder what he's going to come up with as the kick is chipped ahead. Williams is chasing it, tries to boot it on, and Atkins is offside.
And I've said it before, my man of the match is Sam Tompkins. Everything he's done has been for the good of the team. There he is, putting that kick in. George Williams, another top performer for the Warriors.
Did it matter that Lynham didn't play at the ball, that it was kicked at him and bounced away?
No, it's the man who's in the offside position. If that hits him accidentally, that will be accidentally offside, but he's actually played the ball.
They're going for 2 here, Wigan.
It's just an instinctive reaction, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which he very often is in those situations. Players can't help themselves.
Plus the fact I think Wigan would have been in with a very good chance of scoring had he not done that. So.
Well, that shows the intensity of this game.
He picks the ball up.
12 minutes left, and Wigan are going for goal here.
It's a bit closer. He could take the ball in a few metres.
Because it's where it should be stood, so it's in line with where he was offside.
So it's a penalty, and Sam Tompkins
he gets it where 10 yards, he gets where he should
taking
be
his
stood,
time
had he not been offside, which is
about lining this penalty kick up. Makes 1 or 2 clothing adjustments and tees the ball up. The ground really has looked a picture today. Still great turnout, still full, yeah. Leeds and the Castleford Tigers awaiting their chance to round off day 1 of the Magic Weekend.
Look at that, that's stunning, that. Hopefully everybody turns up tomorrow, eventually, when they rise from the pits, having enjoyed an evening's entertainment in Newcastle.
Aye, aye. Sam Tompkins then, with the penalty attempts. Oh, he's pushed it across the face of the post. 26-10 it remains. But Warrington running out of time now.
Got to wait for the touch.
They've got to find an inspired spell.
They need a ball back here, don't they?
Just wait for the touches.
Well, there's no point kicking this 40 metres.
Stay onside.
Do they have the wit to do that?
Yeah, he's kicking it this way.
He's gone 10.
They go for height, but Farrell bats it back.
Take tackle 1.
I think Atkins touched it, Bill, sorry.
1.
He had to get up, he had to contest it, and when he did, it didn't matter because Wigan got that ball. That's a beautiful play. Catches and passes that ball. He's under attention.
Back.
The Wigan player.
Joel Tompkins, isn't he? He's almost filling in for Sean O'Loughlin in that loose 4 position. Expected to pass it around a bit.
3. Move, Theta.
Sean O'Loughlin absent for the Wigan Warriors today. But without him, they are leading their big rivals by 26 points to 10 and looking for more points now. But Farrell loses his footing.
Last move here.
That's the 5th tackle. And Tompkins, little grubber kick from him.
Back. Surrender.
And across
Stand now.
comes Ratchford to sweep up that ball. Charnley, but he can't make any progress.
Stand.
Well, the man of the match contenders have been chosen. They are Sam Tompkins, Ryan Sutton, John Bateman and Liam Farrell. Every one of them a Wigan Warriors player. Michael Carter's pick, the Wakefield chairman and owner. And you can register and you can make your vote counts on the R League app for the Betfred man of the match. Who's he going to be? It's going to be a Wigan player. Here's Darryl Clark.
5.
Darryl Clark is one player that can inspire his teammates. You can't argue with any of those 4 players on that panel. All have had significant games. But Warrington Wolves need a spark.
1.
Will Darryl Clark provide it?
Little sign of them sparking up at the moment. It's really Wigan who are dominating.
Yeah, I think Warrington will look back at some of the chances that they got close and be frustrated, maybe convince themselves that they weren't that far away from it, but the more the game goes on, the stronger Wigan appear. John Bateman particularly so.
Big performance from him. Gildart now. Murdoch Masilla lands on top of him. Oh,
that'll knock the wind out of you.
Surely will.
Move. Go.
Farrell, again they go down the short side, and Tompkins just the wrong side of the post. The corner flag, the corner marker.
Well, the force that Wigan were running into the contest with meant that they got speedy play the balls, and Sam Tompkins hasn't had a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, you told us we're
stretched up.
This guy playing the ball, we're going to get a try from him before the end, didn't you? You said Josh Charnley.
I didn't think you'd remembered that, Phil.
Well, I'm waiting for it, and I think the Warrington fans are waiting for it because they've had nothing to cheer about for a long time. Offload again from Hill.
Well, they've got 9 minutes to try and come up with something spectacular here at St James's Park, and it's not a happy hunting ground for the Warrington Wolves. They can't win here. They've lost to St Helens, they've lost to Castleford, they drew with Wigan last year, and they're on course for defeat by that same Wigan club this evening, unless they can turn this around. But the ball back in field from Lynham is pounced on, and it's a penalty.
You can't push it. Get to the ball. No, you push it.
Wigan, who flood towards the ball, don't want to get that try line of theirs breached. Was there a push in back play?
Escaré on Livette. That's what the penalty's for. Just as the ball's loose, Escray's going towards the ball, but pushes him, Livette out the way to get to the ball.
A bit more possession for Warrington. All they need to do is find Josh Charnley. And then I can go home.
You can go home.
Happy that I'm right and Phil Clark's wrong.
Here it's coming.
Well, this might be the opportunity. It's a second for Stefan Rajford, but is it? It's going to be a video ref decision. James Child will have to have a look at this, and it's obstruction.
Yeah, usually when a big hole appears like that, there's a reason for it, so Robert Hicks will be wondering how somebody came through such a gap. We can see him going forward. Well, Tompkins has gone to him, play on. You can see the contact there, it's on the outside shoulder, but Tompkins makes a clear move towards him.
He's looking at him, man.
So, for me, Tompkins has decided to go in and make that contact. And that's what created a bit of a hole there. But I don't see anything there that should disallow that try.
Well, they're not even going to look at the grounding, so they've taken a different view. And Rajford will be denied his second try of the game, denied some consolation, and he's incredulous as the Warrington Wolves fall back.
But we've seen it all year where a player stays in the defensive line, he's been penalised. That is different.
Yeah, he's in the defensive line and then gets knocked over.
That's right. The Wigan player's gone to him. You know, they've got to look at this. That's the way they've interpreted this year. I don't agree with it.
Could they get the R-League app and we all vote, maybe? The majority wins? Be a revision of the video referee, a different way of doing it.
Steve Price and Andrew Henderson bewildered by that one. Wry smile on the face of the Warrington coach. It's
good. Obstruction, mate. It's on the outside.
Not panned out the way that it looked as though it might do. Early doors. Warrington off to a good start. The opening quarter of the game.
They've got plenty to fix up, this Warrington side, but the one thing we know about Super League, it's not about what you do at this time of year, it's about peaking at the right time, making sure on the big occasion. I'm not saying Magic isn't a big occasion, it is. But it's not at the point of the season where it's a do-or-die situation.
Here's Sam Tompkins, and now Willie Isa. 8th season in Super League for the dependable Willie Isa, who's just signed a new three-year deal. Williams digs a kick in. Marshall will round it off. Liam Marshall, but the try isn't awarded. He's got 8 tries in 4 games against the Warrington Wolves. Last year, he loves scoring against Warrington, but has he got this one?
Well, he's well onside, and that's what they're checking for. There's nothing wrong with anything else. Grounding's fine. This try will be confirmed.
Hasn't he come on that play? He burst onto the scene playing against Warrington almost by accident. He gets in most weeks on merit and consistently comes up with the goods. Another try for the collection for Liam Marshall.
Yeah, magic hat-trick last year for Liam Marshall. As Ian Proctor has pointed out, he always scores against Warrington Wolves. And Tyrone Roberts and the Warrington Wolves players resigned to their fate now.
Well, we first saw him playing in the Blackpool Bash for Swinton, going back a couple of years here now. But he's ended up scoring on the wing here now at the highest level, just like his father David used to do on the left wing for Wigan a long time ago. Liam Marshall's got that try-scoring knack, and certainly you give him 10 chances, but 9 of them will be converted into a try. An exceptionally talented young man.
Well, he'd actually had a bit of a try drought. He'd gone 6 games without a try until the cup tie at Hull KL last week, and he got a try. And now he's obviously, this could be the start of another run. So you could be right.
He didn't get many chances, that's what I said, in those 6 weeks.
And Sam Tompkins, almost an identical situation from his last conversion, and this one, he's hit the post. Shake of the head. His success rate dipping. It was 70% at the start of the game. Probably gone down a percentage point or 2. But Marshall has added to Wigan's tally. 30 points to 10, they lead.
We talked about Sean Wayne at half-time. I suspect he'd have been less than happy with the way his side had gone in this game, but he'll look at this second half and say, we completely dominated our opponents, we absorbed pressure, we applied pressure on our opponents, and when points were available to us, we took them. A good day out for the Wigan Warriors.
Is that 14-0 in the second half? Is my maths correct? I'm looking at you, Barry.
I'm going to say yes.
It is, yeah. 3 tries, only 1 converted by Sam Tompkins.
I'm going to say yes, Phil, because you're wearing glasses, so that must make you clever.
The dark glasses.
It looks like Magnum PI, Bill.
Poor eyesight.
He looks like a what? A
Magnum PI.
An ice cream.
Thomas Magnum.
Oh, right. Harvey Livett.
Let's get bound.
Not the day for him today. Looked like being so when he got that try.
Ready, Morgan.
After 12 minutes, and Warrington had that purple patch, but the purple patch faded, and it's been Cherry and White who have dominated. Navarrete taken for a walk by those Warrington defenders.
Coaches will look at the teams and they'll say, are our errors skill errors or effort errors? And I think there's been quite a few with Warrington. It's not been through a lack of effort. They've met some good opponents who, when they've had the opportunity of taking them, the skill has let them down a little bit. And 30 points to 10 looks a little bit lopsided. I'm not sure it's the true difference between these two sides, but no doubt the Warrington side have come second best to Wigan.
Well, Warrington will get their chance to avenge this in the Challenge Cup quarter-finals next month.
Last. Move. Hold.
But this is a costly win in terms of where they are in the Super League standings, losing for the first time in some considerable time since early March. And Wigan's amazing magic success rate continues. Now only 2 defeats in 12 Magic appearances. Their last Magic defeat was the hands of St Helens in Cardiff in 2008, and Sean Wayne personally never has lost a Magic game. 7 now.
Come on, guys, let's go.
And he won his 150th game as coach of the Warriors last week in the cup win against Hull Kingston Rovers.
That's some record stuff. Some record for the local born and bred. Sean Wayne takes great pride in how his side plays, not just in the wins and losses, but how they play. And they played probably as a true reflection of how he wants. There's a loose offload there.
And Escaray almost away. It's Davis, though, who will finish. Escaray popped the ball out, and Tom Davis rounds off this ultimately emphatic Wigan win. Wigan supporters waving the flag for their club as Davis gets his 6th try of the season, courtesy of the alert Frenchman Morgan Escaray. Handshakes all round on the sidelines.
Wigan Warriors are even attacking when they're in defence. It is a loose offload. It's Tom Lynham who turns round trying to find one of his teammates. But just look at the amount of cherry and white shirts in the frame. It's no wonder that they're able to regather this ball, collect it. The Frenchman finds an offload to the winger. Again, it comes off the hard work and the endeavour of John Bateman, who's worked tirelessly in both attack and defence. Look at those great scenes, celebratory scenes from the Wigan players.
Tom Davis, who got a try in the cup last week, on the scoreboard again, as he was last year in this fixture in that 24-all draw, the 21-year-old winger. And Sam Tompkins hasn't had his kicking boots on in the second half, otherwise the punishment would be even worse for the Warrington Wolves.
Well, they don't just look beaten, they look broken behind the posts at the moment. The longer it goes on, the more painful it is, and the journey back to Warrington for the supporters and the team, well, there won't be much of a laugh.
Sean Wayne hiding his contentment as Tompkins is on target, but he must be purring, the Wigan coach, to do this to one of your biggest rivals, certainly at the moment, given the form Warrington are in. This is some statement from Wigan, isn't it?
20-0 in the second half. To go into the changing rooms less than happy. Sean Wayne has challenged his players. He's given them one or two tips, one or two things to work on. I was going to say before the try was scored, the hallmark of Sean Wayne's Wigan's side is they run hard, they hit hard, and they stay in the contest for as long as they can.
Wigan have done this without Sean O'Loughlin as well, which is impressive.
It's always something that's mentioned when a Wigan side doesn't have Sean O'Loughlin. Do they have the character and strength, mental toughness to get through? Well, they have done, and they've relied on people like Oliver Gildart.
Hang on, Wigan haven't finished. Morgan Escaray will finish, or will he? No! Across comes Lynham. Escaray's still going. And almost finding a way through, but there could be more punishment to come for the Warrington Wolves, who are reluctant to let Escaray get to his feet. Ratchford prostrate on the ground.
They might as well kick a goal, haven't they?
Stefan Ratchford's arm was lodged in that tackle. He couldn't shake free. Hasn't he had a wonderful game? Right throughout the ranks, you can go all down the team sheet. There hasn't hardly been a bad player in the Wigan shirt.
It's a very good effort by Warrington. I've complimented Wigan before, but they did really work hard in the dying minute there to get back and prevent another try.
So they will round this off with another 2 points.
You have to come out as well, mate. That's the penalty.
After that penalty was conceded by Stefan Ratchford, Escaray denied the glory, but no denying the Wigan Warriors. They'll get the points, they'll get the man of the match, and Tompkins will close out this victory with 2 points. Hooter sounds, job done, 38-10. Look of contentment on the face of the Wigan Warriors coach as he congratulates his backroom team. Sam Tompkins started it with his penalty after 5 minutes. Sam Tompkins finished it with his penalty on 80 minutes. In between, Wigan asserted their authority once they'd got the measure of this Warrington Wolves side. Warrington had that phase of the game after Harvey Livet's try, around Harvey Livet's try, when they looked as though they would take a grip on it. But Wigan broke that grip, led 16-10 at half-time. In the second half, complete domination from the Warriors with 4 tries and 3 goals from Sam Tompkins. And Wigan make it 7 wins in a row. They are unbeaten in 9, now 10 Magic games, the last 10. Only Saints and Warrington earlier this season have beaten this Wigan side. They stay second in the table on the heels of St Helens, who've already won on day 1 of Magic, and in front of a big crowd at St James's Park. Wigan have shown that they are title contenders. There were 4 man of the match contenders. Sam Tompkins got the nod, and he's with Angela.
Talk to me now. There's yourself as the man of the match. That was a clinical performance, a great win for Wigan today.
Yeah, it was. I think that's one of our best performances of the year, and we knew we'd have to come up with that to beat Warrington. The scoreline probably flatters us a bit there. That suggests it was an easy game, and it definitely wasn't that.
He didn't switch off in that second half, nilled them as well, which will be particularly pleasing for you and for the coach.
Yeah, you know, we pride ourselves on our defence, and we know that Warrington, that's been their biggest improvement this year, the defence. You know, they're tough to break down, so, you know, our attack back tonight, got them, but yeah, it was tough. Don't be fooled by that scoreline.
Have you set a statement here tonight, a statement of intent for Super League?
Yeah, well, we want to do that every week. You know, we go out to put our best performance in, and we've done that today. You know, we've got Warrington again in a couple of weeks, and you know, that's going to be even tougher test in the Challenge Cup. So you know, we can take a bit of confidence from this, and we'll not give ourselves too many pats on the back, but we can be really pleased with that.
You want to go out on a high, don't you? You want to leave this club on a high.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it means a massive deal to me. I love this club. I've never made any secret of that, and yeah, I'd love to leave with some silverware a bit bigger than this.
And we've got a cheque for you as well. There you go, man of the match, Betfred man of the match, £250 to the charity of your choice. Where's it going to go?
We'll go to Joining Jack, please.
Congratulations, thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, well done, Sam Tompkins. Donation to the Joining Jack charity. 18 of Wigan's points today came from Sam Tompkins. 1 try and 7 successful kicks. They win 38-10 against the Warrington Wolves. The Warrington Wolves are second place going into this game and hoping to pull level on points with the Wigan Warriors. Ultimately, John Wells, Wigan just too big, too strong, too good.
Very, very close start to the second half. Leroy Livette, well, his effort was held up, and then some great work from Josh Charnley under some pressure. But here was the trademark, and this is what Scott and I were talking about throughout the second half, the willingness for the Wigan Warriors to get back and to defend in numbers, and that never say die attitude really underlined that performance.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely superb. When you look at the way that the Warriors defended in that second half, was absolutely, sometimes they didn't even get off the line at times. They just held back because they knew that Warrington would come, but they had the numbers, they had the turnover, they were strong when they needed to be. If you have a look outside here, you've got to get in between the man, get in between the man. Charlie does brilliantly well. You can't leave the attacker out on his own there, but as good as Warrington were going forward, Wigan just had the ability at times just to close the game down, and this kind of helped Wigan twice in that game. Just showed the composure, didn't panic, and when they had to attack and when they had the opportunity, they were punishing.
Yeah, the flashpoints really seemed to not unsettle Wigan in the same way they did the Warrington Wolves, and even when they did get
Sam on there.
Oh, all he did was just put himself in front of the opposition. That was enough for them, wasn't it? Again, a try chalked off through obstruction. The least said about that one, the better.
That's a try.
Try.
Yeah.
Try in any code.
But then, 2 minutes later, it's a 12-point turnaround because they're in the corner.
It was 26-10, then that Liam Marshall try made it 30-10, and Wigan hadn't given up yet, John. Still had more tries.
And as they had done all afternoon, were first to every single loose ball, and I think that underlines the hunger and the real desire in this Wigan Warriors of 2018.
Okay, the Wigan Warriors, having played a game less than St Helens, now sit just 2 points off the top of the table. The Warrington Wolves now, there's a 4-point gap between the Wolves and the Warriors. That was a significant victory for Wigan. As I said, with that game in hand, they could find themselves level on points, at least, with St Helens at the top of the table. Scott Quinnell, I think it's been a little while since you've seen Wigan in the flesh, your old club. You've looked at them now closely, you've had a good look at them. What would be your observations of the Wigan team by that performance today?
I think they're very well drilled. When you have a look at them, the defence, they build themselves on the defence, well structured. They know what they're doing at every time because they don't rush out of the line a lot of the times, especially when Warrington broke them. They got the ability to get back, get set, get into place, and then not panic. And that's a sign of a very, very good side. And then when you get the opportunity to go forward, the likes of Powell, the likes of Tompkins, he came in the first receiver a lot when they needed him to, just to get that pace, get them going forward. The kicking game was good in that second half. I watched when Wigan are on, I tried to watch them, and that's one of the best performances I've seen for a long, long time.
And it should be judged against a side who are sitting third in the table. The Warrington Wolves had won the last 8 Super League matches. We won't throw the baby out with the bathwater with the Wolves, but, you know, had Sam Tompkins, he kicked pretty well today, but had he kicked even better, the Wigan Warriors would have posted 40 points on the Warrington Wolves. What does this tell us now about the Warrington Wolves? It was billed as a real test of their character.
The Warrington Wolves, I don't think have got anything to panic about. I think they'll be fine this season. They're a quality outfit. I prefer to focus on what it tells you about the Wigan Warriors, and that is that you've got an incredibly mentally, as well as all the physical side of stuff that you were talking about, Scott, mentally, to to stop the Warrington Wolves from scoring from the 35th minute. They've gone 45 minutes without letting one of the best attacking sides in Super League score. That's a really strong mental side we're seeing this year.
But as well, there's times like with Warrington, the fact that you go through, they should have had the try. Ratchford should have scored that try late on, which they could have been a swing, and then they put the Warriors under a little bit of pressure. Don't panic. One of those games, you win 7 on the bounce, you lose one of them. Sometimes you've got to throw the tape away and concentrate on what goes next week.
Yep, okay, they will meet again in the Cup. Scott, thank you very much for your company.
Thank you for having me.
You're off to North Wales tomorrow. What do you got next for the fan van?
Yeah, I'm off to North Wales tomorrow. I'm having a go. The longest zip line in Europe. I'm going to have a go. I hold the record of 120 mile an hour. I'm going to try to get 130 mile an hour tomorrow. I look like a chipmunk. My cheeks are behind my ears when I do it, but that's going to be fun. Playing at Wentworth on Wednesday in the Pro-Am. England, Pakistan on Thursday.
I told you I want to come back as him.
Championship playoff on Friday, and then you can see us live on Sky for England Barbarians on Sunday. I think it's Sunday. I can't remember what day. Can I just say thank you so much for having me. I love this sport. I love the people, and this shows what this sport is all about. Team, family, just a wonderful party and atmosphere. Thank you for having me.
Well said. We were delighted to have you. If it goes wrong for you tomorrow, we'll see you flying somewhere over the Irish Sea. Keep an eye.
I will.
It'll be the jumbo jet. Okay, we say goodbye to Scott Quinnell. He goes off with his fan van to North Wales. But stay tuned, because coming up we have got a repeat of the 2017 Grand Finals. The Castleford Tigers against the champions, the Leeds Rhinos. Eddie Hemmings and the commentary team are standing by the other side of the break to bring you this match. It should be a cracker. Both sides trying to feel their way into the season. This will be a huge match for both teams.
Big chase on him, Luke Gale with a drop goal! He has kicked it!
Will finish. Escaray popped the ball out, and Tom Davis rounds off this ultimately emphatic Wigan win. Wigan supporters waving the flag for their club as Davis gets his 6th try of the season, courtesy of the alert Frenchman Morgan Escaray. Handshakes all round on the sidelines.
Wigan Warriors are even attacking when they're in defence. It is a loose offload. It's Tom Lynham who turns round trying to find one of his teammates. But just look at the amount of cherry and white shirts in the frame. It's no wonder that they're able to regather this ball, collect it. The Frenchman finds an offload to the winger. Again, it comes off the half.